visión tenemos ahora? No, que ahora ya ha quedado todo libre delante.
Ah, sí.
Hi everyone, I am Farzad and I am going to talk about real-time tracking and grasping of a moving object from range video. It is a joint work with Atia Kodumi, Babette Dillon, William Alenia and Carmen Tolos. We have built a complete system that is able to track and grasp a moving object in 3D space. Now, we have a sensor mounted on the top that acquires depth information in real time, and using our proposed tracker, we recover the pose of the object. This pose is fed to the end effector of the manipulator, and the pose of the end effector is updated. The sensor is calibrated to the manipulator so that the pose that we obtain from the sensor is relative to the manipulator. Now, in order to make the system work, we make a few assumptions. Firstly, the object does not move into a place so that it gets fully occluded by the manipulator itself. And secondly, the object is moving at speeds relatively slower than the manipulator. Otherwise, the manipulator will keep on chasing the object, but will not be able to catch up with the object. And as you can see that when the object moves, the manipulator also moves until it grasps the object. We were motivated by the fact that there is always a need of higher level of autonomy. The applications range from human-robot interaction to learning from demonstration. For example, in this work from Jain et al., they learned trajectory preferences. However, during the learning phase, they have to manually move the end effector of the manipulator to teach a better trajectory. There have been approaches proposed to perform tracking and grasping in the past, and the basic pipeline is to continuously track and estimate the pose of the object, and based on the tracked result, update the position of the gripper until it grasps. For example, in this work from Allen et al., they used stereoscopic optic flow to track the object. However, they assume that the objects are moving in planar trajectories only. Then there is another work in which they assume that the objects' trajectories are provided already, for example, if they are moving on a conveyor belt. And then there is this work from Smith et al., in which they use sum of squared difference between base optic flow, but still their approach is restricted to translation only. There are several other approaches, but they show their results in simulation only. Our approach is closely related to the setup of Sirajuddin et al., in which they have a fixed Kinect sensor that continuously tracks the object, and based on the tracked result, they update the position of the manipulator until it grasps it. Now, for tracking, they use a simple block detection algorithm, and which is based on color images. And this color image, we use, instead of color, we use the depth image only, and I will show you later that there are certain advantages of depth over color in various cases. Now, we are not the first ones to propose tracking with range images. There is a 3D tracker built in the point cloud library, which directly computes the 6-digit transformation parameters using a particle filter, and I will later show a comparison with this approach. Secondly, there is also a method based on seeding and region growing,
However, the problem in this method is that since they, at every step they compute the speed and then perform a growing operation based on surface models, they don't keep track of the corresponding points. Hence, we would have to use some other method on top of this to compute the orientation of the surface. There are several other approaches for tracking, but they assume articulated motion only. This is the basic pipeline of our approach. We perform tracking with range images, and our work is based on the work from Swan et al., which is geometric particle filtering
on the affine group. This method was originally proposed for color images, and I will show you how we modified it to work with range images. Once we have performed tracking,
we reposition the RAM arm using a robust online inverse kinematics algorithm. So basically, we have implemented our tracker, which receives depth information and gives us the 3D pose of the object. And based on the 3D pose, we update, we represent a joint vector goal using an inverse kinematics algorithm. And then we keep on updating using dynamic motor primitives. We keep on updating the pose of the end effector at a joint level. And this updated goal is fed to a trajectory is fed to a controller to control the robot. So our approach can be divided mainly into two basic parts, which is tracking and drafting. And first I will talk about tracking. We use the particle filtering on the affine group. So here X is the affine transformation matrix, and each time when we get a new observation, we sample X, and then we compute the rate, and based on the rate we perform resampling. We use a constant velocity model for our tracker, and here H is the measurement function. Now the affine transform encodes the deformation of a planar surface moving in 3D space. And in case of a non-planar surface, the affine transform cannot give exact point correspondences. However, extensive experimental results have revealed that under these perspective assumptions, an affine transform can give an estimate of such kind of transformation. But still, these if we use the measurement function as proposed by Swan et al., the tracker will not work. And here is the reason why. As you can see in the color image, here you can see that we have the color image and the bounding box is the track result. And as you can see that inside this bounding box, the texture is almost the same, and we can compute the measurement function as a norm of the distance between the corresponding pixels. However, if we try to apply this approach to a range image, you will see that even though the surfaces are the same that we are want to track, but because of the difference in depth, the value of the corresponding pixels are different. And this is the reason why this measurement function cannot give us the right answer. So we will do some minor modification, which is that we first apply a rigid transform between the template and the track surface so that the distance between the corresponding points is minimized in a least square term. Once we have applied this transform, afterwards we compute the distance of the XYZ values of the corresponding points and find the norm. In this way, we were able to successfully use the tracker for range images. For drafting, we have a RAM arm with 7 degrees of freedom. And we update the pose of the RAM arm and effector of the RAM arm
using dynamic motor primitives. We update the goal position of the WAM end effector until the generalized Cartesian space error is minimized, and as soon as this error is minimized, we send the command to the gripper to close the fingers and grasp the object. Now I will first show the results of our tracker and compare it with other proposed methods. The first one is our approach, and the second column shows the tracker from the PCL, and the same goes for the next figure. The first column is ours and second is the PCL tracker, and as you can see that in the last frame our tracker was able to track the object, whereas the PCL tracker failed. And now I will show a video. We applied different kinds of transformations to test both of the trackers. On the right one is the PCL and the left one is our tracker. We translated the object, we rotated the object, and we also did some out of plane rotations to see how much both of these methods are robust. So this is more or less translation, and this is like out of plane rotation. And you can see that PCL failed, whereas ours kept on tracking. Here I compare with two state-of-the-art color-based tracker. On the right is the depth image that we are using for tracking, and on the left is the color image. And as I mentioned before, that depth data could have some advantages over color in certain cases, and which is obvious from here. If you see inside the red box and boundary box, the texture inside the surface changes a lot, whereas the shape of the surface remains the same almost. So for this reason, our tracker successfully tracks the surface, whereas the other trackers failed. Finally, I show the result of a complete tracking and grasping system. Here you can see that the end effector keeps on tracking this bottle until it grasps it. We also did some quantitative evaluation. We manually generated the ground truth of the tracked surface, and then we computed the mean value of the RMS error. And you can see that our approach gave the minimum RMS error compared to the other two color-based trackers. And here from this plot, it is also clear that at this point and at this point, the two trackers failed, whereas ours was still tracking. And finally, to conclude, our algorithm allowed to track and grasp object despite noise from the depth camera and also partial occlusions. In the future, at the moment our tracker is able to process at 20 frames per second, and we would like it to be more fast. And since we are using a particle filter and each state of the particle can be computed independently from the other, so there is a great chance of parallelizing the code using OpenMP libraries or on a GPU and make it even more fast. Now, our approach also has some limitations. For example, the depth differences between surfaces can become too small. For example, if I place the cup that I showed before on top of another cup, then it would become one big cylindrical surface, and the tracker won't be able to distinguish what it was tracking, because the depth difference is almost minimized. And in that case, we believe that if we also use color data, we could improve our tracker further and increase the robustness. And our source code is available online, and I also brought the Kinect camera with me, so if someone wants to have a live demonstration, he can contact me and I can give the demonstration. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, you seem to be, good work, by the way. You seem to be very careful about occlusions when you showed the demo, right? So what if I dial the number with my thumb on that phone? Would it lose track, or?
In our experiments, In our experiments, we found that around 10 to 20% occlusion could be handled by our tracker. But there are many factors, a lot of factors that also define the robustness. For example, the shape of the surface itself. Because sometimes the shape is non-planar, then it could be more prone to loose tracking. Or, for example, if the shape is a sphere, then we get a very good result with the tracker, and it could be a lot more occluded. So there are some trade-offs, and if you want, I can give you a live demonstration. You can see how much occlusion it could handle. And since the source code is available, so you can download it and use it yourself.